Heyo! And what's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us again here on the channel today. Monday Night Raw kicked off with a bang, man. It started off good, and I was pumped and ready to sit down and enjoy 3 hours of wrestling, and then they completely shit the bed on the rest of the show because this show fucking sucked. And we are going to talk about it right here and right now on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Do it. Click.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Alright, you bastards, let's get this show started. Monday Night Raw is fucking terrible. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show right here on Sledgehammer TV, only available on YouTube.com. Thank you once again for joining us. You know, we haven't done a Monday Night Raw review in a while, and this show is the exact fucking reason why. Because this show was garbage. It was fucking trash. It hurt my eyes to watch. It hurt my brain to absorb. It was fucking terrible. Outside of the opening segment, there was absolutely nothing of value on this show. Nothing made sense. We had stupid feuds that meant nothing. We had them completely disrespecting the Intercontinental Championship again, as they like to do on Monday Night Raw. We had an absolutely meaningless main event, which had the potential to be fucking fantastic, but at the end ended up just being an absolute flop. And we'll get into that a little bit later. What else was on this ridiculous shitfest of a show? We had the absolutely failing women's division, all rolled up in the one big fucking ball of stupidity and nonsense is the best word to talk about it, because it's nonsense. It's fucking stupid what they're doing, and I hate the fact that Alexa Bliss is the head of this division. It is the worst it's been since they started the NXT revolution for the women's division, when the Four Horsewomen came up and started the whole thing. And as we're talking about the women, we have the burial of Bayley, the further burial of Bayley. That's hard to say. You try to say it before you judge me. It's fucking trash. We highlight Bayley in some sort of a interview with Corey Graves where all she gives a shit about is giving the guy a hug. You just got your ass whipped. You just lost 2 back-to-back attempts at the women's championship, and you don't care? Why do you not care about the women's title? That should be the number one focus of every single woman competing on the roster. I want that belt. I failed twice, and I'm still not pissed off. Alexa Bliss tattooed me up with a fucking kendo stick, and I come out here and I'm still not pissed off. I come out here, oh, it's okay, I tried my best, oh shucks, it's alright, I'm gonna keep fucking smiling with my potato cheeks, and I'm gonna talk to Corey Graves, and I'm gonna ask him to give me a fucking hug. No. Absolutely fucking stupid. The Enzo and Cass thing needs to start wrapping up. We keep seeing more of the same shit, just somebody getting knocked out and laid out in the back. It's just become nonsense now. At first you had my interest. I wanted to see where you were going, but now you're bringing in the Big Show. Who the fuck wants to see the Big Show? Nobody. Does it serve any purpose to furthering the storyline? Maybe slightly a little bit, but it doesn't make any sense. Why would Enzo be looking for the Big Show as a replacement for Cass, to the point where Cass is upset about it? Or is he just upset because maybe it's the Big Show that he thinks is hurting him, and Enzo's giving him hugs in the ring? Maybe he should be hugging Bayley instead. I don't fucking know, because it makes no sense. I don't want to see it. I want it to wrap up. We need to move it along. The worst thing they can do in this situation is make this whole thing be a ruse by Kaz and have him end up being Enzo's attacker. If you break up Enzo and Kaz right now, you're destroying the tag team division even further. Not that it's any good as it is. It's become a stale fucking rinse and repeat fest in the tag division. You take Enzo and Cass out of that, you barely have anything left. It's not making any sense to me. So let's move this along. We've seen the Revival in the back passing through in a few cases in this very scenario a couple of weeks in a row now. If it's not them, This will be a huge disappointment for me. The Cruiserweights. Cruiserweights were fucking wasted, as usual. They should just stop. They should just end this experiment right now. Just leave them on 205 Live and let it be. Air commercials, don't air segments because you're taking time away from the show. Not that it's that much time, but that whole fucking segment with the cell phone and Alicia Fox and Noam Dar, why don't you just shoot me in the face? Because that would be far less painful. And at least it would be over quickly. And I wouldn't have to deal with it. Hearing Alicia Fox over the entire arena, through the microphones and the PA systems and on the Titantron, how does that even happen? The only person that should have their phone on the Titantron is Tyler Breeze, and they dropped that for some reason. You got a great gimmick going on with the fashion police that they can come out and take pictures and do selfies and this and have it all up there in their little cop outfits, but you dropped that. Instead, you're having them change into fucking monkey suits and grandma suits and all kinds of fucking suits and becoming a joke. Just like the Intercontinental Championship. You have a roster full of superstars that you're not showcasing. The Miz needs a tag team fucking partner, and you give him a fucking jobber in a bear suit. A jobber in a fucking bear suit. Why didn't you give Bayley the fucking jobber in the bear suit since she wants to fucking hug people so much? Hug that teddy bear. Maybe it'll piss you off. I don't know. Because it's not an actual teddy bear and he's not all soft and cuddly inside. Maybe that'll get some anger in her bones. Because the anger in my bones is running wild. The Intercontinental Championship and the Intercontinental Champion is given a fucking jobber in a bear suit as his tag team title. As his tag team partner. That's how pissed off I am. This show was ridiculous. All for what? For Dean Ambrose to come out again? I wasn't happy with him coming out the first time when he was fighting Elias Sampson. I'm not too down on Elias Sampson. I actually kind of dig it, but this should be what Dean Ambrose is doing, but instead they keep this Miz Intercontinental Championship feud in the mix with this Elias Sampson feud, which seems to actually have something there. And the only reason for them to continue this at all is if they're going to use that to stick Elias Sampson immediately in the Intercontinental Championship hunt and end up doing triple threats and whatnot, and have him win the belt and get it off The Miz. Because The Miz on Raw with the Intercontinental Championship sucks. For some reason, it worked better on SmackDown. Just like everything they do with the women, just works better on SmackDown. They showcase them in a better light. Why we had to have the women all in one segment is beyond me. There's too much stories going on there for it to not have been divided into two separate parts. You could have had Nia Jax and Emma take on Dana Brooke and Mickie James, who was dressed as an Indian for some reason. She looked very much like Tatanka, just without the red streak in her hair. I don't understand where she's going with that look. Didn't make much sense to me. That she's changing her look almost by the week now. She's trying to reinvent herself or find something. People are suggesting to her on Twitter to go back into that country thing she was doing in TNA, and I say no. I say just be Mickie James. Stop it. You don't need to be anything special. You don't want to come out looking like Pocahontas or Tatanka's little sister. It's fucking ridiculous. And I don't want to see it. But that's what they should have done. That could have furthered that story, and then you can put Sasha Banks and Alexa Bliss in a separate segment and have that begin, because that's the only thing that makes sense. I mean, I wouldn't have minded so much if they actually did this feud with Alexa and Nia, as long as in the end they became friends. Because as you know, on this show, we say that's the way they should be doing this. Alexa Bliss is the little Shawn Michaels type, and Nia Jax is the big Kevin Nash type, and you can have the dudettes with attitude, and they just run rampant all over the women's division. Until finally that implodes, and you have the epic confrontation of Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. You could have done that. But of everybody on the roster, Sasha Banks makes the most sense. You could make an argument for Emma, but let's not take people right off the injury reserve list and put them in title matches. I don't like doing that. Emma's got to get some wins. She ended up tapping out tonight in this impromptu Teddy Long six-woman tag team match that ended up after this fucking ridiculous segment in which even Alexa didn't come off looking great. It's just become, again, rinse and repeat with the same old shit over and over and over again. I'm not going to down too much the Goldust and R-Truth stuff. I kind of enjoy that, and that's the old school wrestling fan in me, liking the promo things. They're not as, this week's weren't as good as some of the previous weeks, but the classic Goldust coming back, it's doing something for me on the inside. I wish he'd put his wig back on, but I'm sure he'll get to that eventually. And R-Truth is actually not doing too bad. I like his side of the promos as well. That's the only little tiny thing that I could give maybe some credit for. I mean, but so tiny. Because that it didn't bring me that much joy, because I want to see it progress. Now, we've been doing this now for maybe 3 weeks. Maybe a little confrontation between the two at some point might be in order. We still got 3 weeks to go before Great Balls of Fire, in which this feud is probably going to culminate at. So we'll see where that goes. But, I mean, I don't mind that as much as the rest of the show, which was absolute garbage. Case in point, the continued ruination of my life by Titus O'Neil, because everything he's doing with Apollo Crews, on paper, it should work. It should work because he's a grating personality. People don't really like him. But he's overly goofy. And it just doesn't come off well. I can't take his character. This Titus brand thing, it has... I could see them saying that it has potential, but it has only the potential to fail. Because all in all, at the end, the head of this thing is Titus O'Neil. And I don't even want Titus O'Neil taking out my trash, never mind trying to entertain me on television. Absolutely fucking terrible. The way he was manhandling Tozawa at the end of this thing, it was very uncomfortable to watch. It looked almost like he was bullying him, forcing him into the selfie. The selfie picture was mildly entertaining. If you look at the still shot on Twitter, it's fucking funny. The picture is funny. But what's not funny is what they're doing to get to that picture. And the whole waste of life that was the segment where we see Apollo Crews fighting Kalisto again. For what reason? Why is Kalisto fighting Apollo Crews again? They're just doing the same shit over and over, like they just don't know how to do it. You can make that point. They just don't know what they're doing anymore. But apparently they can do some stuff right. Because Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe put on the most intense and absolute best opening to Monday Night Raw that I have seen in years. It actually got me overly invested and overly excited for the rest of the show, which I should have known better that it was going to fail to deliver on such a epic proportion that it did. Because it's just become garbage. It's not become garbage, it's been garbage. It's become a chore, almost, to watch Monday Night Raw. And in the beginning, Brock and Joe made me feel like, alright, maybe we turn the corner here. Maybe they're trying to get shit in their balls in a row and we're going to do this. But instead of getting their balls in a row, they're setting them on fire. And they're giving us this pay-per-view, but they're not even setting anything up. They're only setting up the main event. Brock Lesnar, Samoa Joe. And they're doing a fantastic job. Paul Heyman, one of the greatest microphone workers you will ever hear in your life, came out tonight with the Beast Incarnate, and he ran down Samoa Joe. One of the most interesting things to me that he said was that, the wrestling industry is full of Samoans, proud Samoans, and they're all pretty much in this one family. But you're not part of this family. You're an outsider. You're a mutt. You're a dog. You're a piece of trash. Because they don't even want anything to do with you. You could take that in one of two ways. You could take that as him shooting him down and saying, nobody cares about you. You're not part of this legacy and this awesome family that has such rooted history in professional wrestling. Nobody wants anything to do with you. Or you could look at it as, you're so damn badass, they don't even want to mess with you, and they're the toughest of the tough, so you are definitely a threat to Brock Lesnar. That's the way I looked at it. Well, that's the way at least I would like to look at it, because I don't look down on Samoa Joe. That's the way I see it. He's not part of that family, and they've never had interactions with each other, because even Roman and his boys and all of the people in his family, the Usos, they know Samoa Joe is legit and will fucking kick their ass very, very easily. Guarantee it. The man is an absolute monster. He's a machine. And this segment tonight proved by his actions and his words that he is everything he says he is, and he has absolutely no fear of Brock Lesnar. He came out there tonight with intent to hurt on his face. The anger was there, the fear was not. No intimidation, no hesitation, jumped right into the ring, got right in Brock Lesnar's face, headbutts the man, which was absolutely insane. He took the first shot and ends up taking Brock down with a shoulder tackle, getting the advantage on Brock, dropping bombs all over the place. Kurt Angle comes out. He's calling security. Security comes out. What's security going to do against Godzilla and King Kong in the ring? Nothing. They swatted them away like the pests that they were. They were nothing. They easily dismantled this fucking squad of nobodies, making Kurt Angle now call for further reinforcements, and the locker room clears out. I was really into it, man. I was intense. I was like off my couch. I was like, oh my god, this is fucking awesome. Samoa Joe got a stiff kick right to the face of Brock Lesnar. I thought Brock Lesnar was going to rip his throat out. You seen the anger in his face when he took that shot. The boys were having a hard time holding these monsters back. They kept getting at each other whenever they were within arm's reach of one another. It was absolutely fucking fantastic. If you're not excited for Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire, then you're not a wrestling fan. If that segment didn't get you going and get you pumped for Monday Night Raw and everything that could possibly come your way, then why are you even watching wrestling, bro? You're not watching the right sport, because you're not enjoying a segment like that. The only segment to enjoy on Monday Night Raw in weeks, maybe even months. Then you don't know what you're watching. And I'm sorry if that's the case, because you need to reevaluate your life and your priorities and understand that this is the greatest thing they have been doing in a long time. This is WrestleMania quality. I have said it on this channel time and time again. This match should not be happening now. It should not be happening into this bullshit pay-per-view, which has a name worse than anything I could even imagine. And there are reports and rumors saying that they're having some sort of copyright issues with it, probably with them using the song, so hopefully they're going to just drop the song, because that just made it worse for me, having the song as the official theme of Great Balls of Fire. We are not in the 50s, Vince. Nobody's as old as you, and a lot of us don't really care about that. We don't want to see it. But we are going to see it. And the one crazy thing about it is this pay-per-view is going to feature probably the greatest match they put on all year. And with everything they did last night, it makes you embarrassed to be a wrestling fan outside of that opening segment. Because you look at what they're doing in Ring of Honor. You look at what they're doing at New Japan, who had Dominion the other night. And it's been said that the match was better than the first, Omega and Okada. I haven't yet seen it, so I can't put my 2 cents in. But I can almost guarantee you that I'm going to watch that match for 1 full hour, 60 minutes, and be more entertained than I was fully, and will feel like I just watched a good wrestling show. You think Gallows and Anderson don't wish they were back there right now? I certainly do. AJ Styles probably even wants to be back there right now. Because here's a promotion that cares about their wrestlers. They care about their titles. They care about their wrestling. They care about the product. WWE has become corporate entertainment. They are the Walmart of sports entertainment. They don't care about nobody that works inside and doing the important things in the day-to-day operations of that company, all the way up to their superstars. And the fact that nobody's saying anything is driving me insane. How can you be on that roster, be part of a show like that last night, and not go to creative and be like, guys, what are we doing? Nothing's making sense. You could make the biggest case in point with Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt. Why are they fighting? Seth Rollins asked that question to Bray Wyatt. It's like, why are you picking on me, bro? Like, what's your beef with me? I didn't do nothing to you. I called you a couple of names. What are you, sensitive? And then Bray Wyatt goes on with all his nonsense. Oh, blah, blah. I don't even remember what he said. It was because it's all just the same old fucking gibberish. He wants to turn around and call himself a god. What are you a god of? You are the god of losing. The eater of losses. The god of Never mind. I was going to go somewhere really dark with that. Because Bray Wyatt is probably more interested in what he's been doing in his bedroom right now. Because he's getting a divorce. Because he's been nailing JoJo. 24-year-old ring announcer JoJo has been taming the evil Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt. Now, obviously, there's a million jokes we can do and a million punches we can throw. But I do like Bray Wyatt. I do not like how they use Bray Wyatt, so I am going to be nice about it. We are not going to tear into that too much. We could talk about it on this week's breaking news episode. We'll discuss Bray Wyatt and his alleged or supposed affair with JoJo and his subsequent divorce from his wife, which has been making the rounds on social media all day today. So it's not going to be much of a surprise to anybody. But that's the most interesting thing that's been happening with Bray Wyatt as of late, as a whole. I'm tired of seeing the same thing. You come out all the time, you say blah, 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 I'm a god, and then you lose to Roman Reigns. Or you lose to anybody they throw you in the ring with. You get a couple of wins every here and there, and people start to get excited, like, we're going to go somewhere with Bray Wyatt. Finally, they're going to do something with Bray Wyatt. And then they just squash any momentum he builds, just like they did with Randy Orton. So, there is no hope for you right now. So, take comfort in your little 24-year-old tart, because those are the only pinfalls you're going to be racking up anytime soon, is every time you hit the mat with that one. And as far as Seth Rollins is concerned, something needs to change for Seth Rollins. You're the Kingslayer now, but what does that mean? You're the Kingslayer without a king to slay. And now you're going to take on a god who can't beat his own shadow. So even when you end up beating Bray Wyatt, which is an eventuality at this point, you're going to end up back in the mid-card. Because you're not Roman Reigns. And you are not what the WWE wants. You're almost in that Daniel Bryan territory where you're very popular, you're very talented, you have a great fan base, but you're just not what they're looking to go with, especially after your first title run was such a dud and then ended with the injury. There's nowhere else to go for you. So you need a complete reinvention. A trip to SmackDown for Seth Rollins, I think, would actually be a much welcome change for him, and we could have him be heel Seth Rollins, because he definitely thrives more in the heel role. Babyface Rollins is like babyface Randy Orton. It just sucks. It feels disingenuous. It feels fake. It feels forced. And it needs to come to an end. Just like this show. Because I don't want to talk about this fucking piece of shit anymore. Like I said, the only thing you need to know, and the only thing you need to see, is the first 15 minutes of Raw. After the segment with Joe and Brock ends, the only thing you need to concern yourself with, fast forward through all the way till Joe does his promo. And pretty much tells Brock Lesnar that he's proven tonight that he's not afraid of the beast. And he's going to lock him in the Coquita clutch. And he's going to put his ass to sleep. And he is going to be our next Universal Champion. I have been saying for months that this is the best feud the WWE could absolutely put together. Hands down. And if it ends up being a one-off, would be absolutely terrible. The rumors have been stating that this is going to be a one-and-done match. And that Brock Lesnar is going to end up moving on to his next opponent immediately following the conclusion of Great Balls of Fire. And whether that's a work shoot putting out on the internet, that's neither here nor there. Because the bottom line is, my hope is that if they see the potential for printing money in Brock Lesnar and Joe, that the potential for that is immense. If they could pull off a great match and they get a good buy rate on the pay-per-view, it's being said that Vince McMahon might change his plans, as I wanted him to do, and make this an ongoing thing, because it deserves more attention. Look at the segment we got last night. We got 3 weeks to go till Great Balls of Fire. And it's going to be interesting to see what else these monsters have in store for us and where they're going to go for this. Hopefully, they don't screw it up. because that's the only good thing they got going on the red brand right now. And that's going to do it, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up for me, man. You know you like the show. This was a good one. So smash it for me. Punch it right in the face. Boom. Superman punch it if you have to. And don't forget, if you have not subscribed, please come along with us. Join the family. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you will be kept up to date. Every single time a video goes up, you will be notified right at the minute of its publication. Don't forget to follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Patreon if you feel like it. Monday Night Raw needs to change. We all know this. And this might be the last Raw review we get in a while, unless there's something of relevance to talk about, like we got tonight in Brock and Joe. I am Nick Nightmare. This is Blue the Snowball Microphone. Thank you so much for joining us, and we are out of here! And we'll see you next time on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.